calling Bob Key.
HVAC, and then we got the contract for the lizards.
Oh, so rules is before, okay. We have rules? Oh, resolution. I seen a resolution.
This is rules. We don't follow rules.
Whenever you're ready, Madam Chair.
Okay, I would like to call the Rules Committee to order. All members are present, and except for Councilwoman Amobian, because she probably thought we were doing the other one. But we have everyone else is, except for Mr. Fusco. But we do have a quorum because I have Freeman, Hoke, and myself, so we'll just roll with it. I would like to make a motion, or I would like someone to make a motion to accept the minutes from our last meeting. I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Good. Hearing and seeing none, they will pass. And please let it be known for the record that Councilman Fusco and Councilwoman Amobian have joined us. And we will take time on our old agenda, and we will move into our new piece that is before us, and that is a resolution expressing the deep and heartfelt sympathy of the City of Akron to the families of the victims of the massacre in Christchurch, New Zealand, extending wishes for healing and justice for the communities impacted by this devastating and senseless act of terrorism, and declaring an emergency. And would you like to speak on that?
Sure, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Mayor Horrigan just wanted to introduce this resolution today. I'm sure everyone's aware of the events that took place on the 15th. An armed gunman entered 2 mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand, and killed 50 people, among them children as young as 2 years old. So we just wanted to express our sympathies and reach out to the communities that are suffering, both in New Zealand and really here locally and across the world as they reel from this tragedy. So just looking for council's support of that resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen, so much. That has to be difficult as a mom nowadays. When you look at something like this, it hits you, as we age, it hits you at different levels. And I thank you for the respect that you showed in bringing us this resolution, and for the mayor. Is there anyone on the committee that would like to make a comment? Councilwoman Amobian?
I certainly appreciate the mayor doing this. As anyone watching the television and listening to the situation over in New Zealand, it was just horrific and just hard to imagine that innocent people going to a mosque to pray were preyed on like this. But it reminds me that we did something exceptional when we made Akron a welcoming city for everyone. And I had the pleasure of going to a mosque a few Sundays ago, or a couple Sundays ago, and also listening to Stephen Muhammad Minister Muhammad speak this Saturday at the peace talk that he does around the city. Because what you find, at least what I found of the Muslim people, is that they're peace-loving individuals who are no threat or harm to anyone. And to think that someone could do this is just unthinkable. And again, I'm glad that we made Akron a welcoming city for all kinds of people and all kinds of religions. And with that, I'm glad we're doing this. Thank you.
Is there anyone else on the committee? Any other council member in the chambers care to comment? Seeing and hearing none, what is the pleasure?
Yeah, I think suspension of the rules would be
I
appropriate.
would imagine. Okay, is that a motion then, Councilman Fusco? Okay, I have a motion and a second for suspension of the rules. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing and seeing none, this will come before us this evening. Thank you. Okay, and is there anything else to come before rules? If not, we are adjourned.
Public Utilities will meet in 30 seconds. 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Run, Forrest, run. Fast. Yeah. Where's Swirsky? Okay. Okay, we have all members of the Public Utilities Committee are present. If we could get a motion for our previous meeting minutes. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we have two pieces in front of us. First one is an ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service to enter into a contract after publicly advertising for bids for HVAC maintenance service at the water distribution facilities for a period of 3 years and declaring an emergency. Mr. Little?
Madam Chair, members of the committee, this would allow us to do maintenance on our triplet water distribution facility as well as 12 of our pump stations that are scattered around the city. This would be a 3-year contract at $25,000 per year.
Okay.
Consent would be fine.
Okay. Any questions from committee members? Mr. Kilby?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chairman. This building on Triplet that we call the Water Distribution Center now, is that one of the new buildings we built over there in the last few years? Okay.
Yeah, it's about 2 years old now.
All right, how many
Maybe 3.
employees do we have working there, would you say?
41?
Approximately.
Does that sound about right? 41, I believe.
41? Okay, so how many water booster stations do we have around the city?
12.
12? Are they manned or unmanned?
No, we visit them daily, though.
Okay,
to
but
check
they
the
need to be
pumps.
heated and air
need to be
conditioned
heated.
too? Okay. Why is that?
They have water in them.
You don't want the water to freeze, I guess?
Right, yeah.
Or get too hot? Okay, all right. So what do they have, these little water booster stations? Do they have air conditioning and regular?
No air conditioning.
No air conditioning, just heat? Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Committee members, council members? Can I get a motion for consent?
Yes, motion for consent. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next piece, ordinance authorizing Director of Public Service or his designee, after publicly advertising for bids, to enter into a contract or contracts for the replacement of lead service lines at residences throughout the city of Akron and declaring an emergency. Mr. Moore?
Madam Chair, members of the committee, this would allow us to replace an additional about 80 lead services throughout the city. What we've done is we've coordinated this with our resurfacing list. So obviously you don't want to dig up a road up right after you resurface. So before we do that, we'll go in and replace the lead service and then have the road resurfaced. We've also applied for another grant that is about the same amount of money, so we're hoping to get even more this year of the lead services done.
Okay.
Consent would be fine.
I have a question really quick. On your impact or objectives of legislation, it says that this program is a carryover from 2018. Both projects are to be construction in 2019, so we're going to be doing 2018 and 19 together?
It's a continuation of last year's program. We do several of these every year. We get as many as we can, actually, every year.
Okay. Okay. Any questions from committee members?
So we're,
Mr. Freeman?
we're just limiting this to where we're having future road construction done?
We actually do these services anytime we get an opportunity. If someone digs up their service, we'll replace it. But we just coordinate it with our resurfacing program to make sure that we're not out,
Right.
changing services on streets that we just recently paved.
Okay, very good, thank you. And what is it, what's the funding source again? I'm looking at this.
Big Water Capital.
Okay, there's WC. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Swirsky?
Well, you guys are talking about this in a very matter-of-fact way, which is your usual professionalism, but it's really a tremendous program that the city is doing to protect people's health, and I want to thank you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Mr. Kilby?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. So we're going to replace 80. How many do we estimate we have left in the city?
There's approximately 4,000. A lot of those are on houses that aren't
Okay.
currently receiving
So the
service.
goal is eventually replace them all? Okay.
That's we've been doing since the
Good.
60s.
All right. So when's the last time they used lead for this? Was it back in the
87?
20s or something, or?
See, 2014, you could no longer have lead in your faucet in your kitchen.
Yeah.
But I believe in the 80s they eliminated the
In
use
the
of lead.
80s, okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, so I guess, I know lead is a very hazardous thing, especially for children, but I know everybody can get their water checked, right? It's called down there. What is the, what have we found out, like, just because they have a lead service line, is there necessarily lead in their water, or no? I mean, what's our conclusion on that?
As part of our distribution system, we add, what's that chemical called?
Zinc orthophosphate.
There's
And-
what?
and-
We add a chemical called zinc orthophosphate.
Okay.
So in the terms, they call it red lead, and what it does, it coats the inside of the pipe. So
Okay.
it prevents, it's like a barrier, so once the water goes through, the lead does not leach into the water. So with our testing with EPA this year, we had the lowest levels ever with our testing. So we have a very interactive map on our website
Yeah.
that you could go on and see if your house does have a lead service or not. And anybody can call and we can test and show them the results of that.
What's that chemical called again?
Zinc orthophosphate.
Commonly known as what?
Well, they call it red lead, but.
Red lead?
Yeah.
Okay, so we put it in all the water?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so is there any known side effects to it besides, I mean, the good thing is it neutralizes the lead in a way, but...
No,
is
sir.
there no? Okay, none that we know of yet?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions from committee members, council members? What's your pleasure? Consent?
Consent would be fine.
Can I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. If we do not have anything else coming before us, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
We're going into budget and finance in about 30 seconds.
Okay. What's that?
I'd like to call the Budget and Finance Committee meeting to order. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting? A motion, a second, all in favor? We'll continue to take time on our old items, and then we have one new item, and this is an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a bond of the city in a principal amount not to exceed $95 million for sale to the Water Pollution Control Loan Fund of the State of Ohio to finance the cost of improvements to the city's wastewater system, pledging certain revenues from the city's wastewater system on a subordinated basis to secure the payment of the principal of and interest on the bond, and authorizing the execution and delivery of the bond, the trust agreement, and other documents, and the taking of other actions related to the issuance and sale of the bond, and declaring an emergency. Mr. Fricker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are these new microphones here? Okay. Okay, so this is a 45-year loan for another CSO project. This project will help improve the capacity down at the wastewater facility in the valley to process more sewage. So again, it's a 45-year loan, which we've been getting on the past several projects. And then there's a couple interest reduction components to this that we may or may not be getting that will lower the interest rate a little bit more than what we've been getting on some of the other projects. So, but we don't know exactly what those are yet.
Very good. Questions or comments? Another 45-year bond, that's a good thing. Thank you. We'll be all gone. All right, would consent be okay, or?
Yes.
Okay, do you have a motion for consent? And I have a motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, Ms. Miller-Dawson, anything to add?
I was just going to comment on budget hearings.
Thank you, do.
Okay, so we received a lot of questions during the budget hearings, and you should have received, I guess, most of the information you were looking for.
Thank you. And it is our goal, I think we want to pass that next week, give everybody
It must be passed by
additional
next
7
week.
days. Next week it has to be passed in order to be in compliance with the state.
That is correct. And I think earlier today, a comment came up about interest income in the general fund. Again, all of that money has been allocated.
Correct, I heard you say that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, if there's nothing else to come before us, we will adjourn. Thank you.